You've been carrying that weight for so long. You've been trying to manage it all, organize it, fix it, control it, but you can't. You can't control everything, no matter how hard you try. And I'm here to tell you today, you don't have to. We live in a world that constantly feeds us the idea that control is the answer to everything. From the time we wake up in the morning until the moment we go to bed, we're taught to be in control. Control your schedule, control your work, control your relationships, control your thoughts, control your emotions. But the truth is, we are not in control as much as we think we are. And that's okay. The illusion of control is one of the biggest traps we fall into. We spend so much time trying to manage everything that we forget to trust. We forget that life isn't a project we can plan to perfection or a puzzle we can piece together in our own timing. Trying to control everything around us doesn't bring peace, it breeds stress, frustration, and exhaustion. The more we try to control things, the more we realize how little power we actually have. We think if we just fix the situation, manage the moment, or orchestrate our future, things will turn out the way we want. But here's the catch. Life doesn't operate according to our plans. Life is messy. It's unpredictable. It's full of twists and turns, things we didn't see coming and situations we can't control. We see this in the way we plan our careers. You might have a clear vision for your life, a step-by-step roadmap of how things should go. But then, something unexpected happens, an opportunity you didn't plan for, a detour that throws you off course, or a setback that makes you question your path. What do? You either resist the change and try to force your plan to fit, or you surrender and accept that you can't control the journey. Realizing that you can't control the outcome can be freeing. The same applies to relationships. We try to control how people behave, how they treat us, and how they should react. But no matter how much we try to influence others, we can't control their actions, their thoughts, or their hearts. We can't dictate how someone will respond to our love or how they will treat us in return. When we hold on too tightly, trying to control relationships, we miss the beauty of letting them unfold naturally. Even our emotions are part of this illusion of control. We try to control how we feel, trying to push down sadness, force ourselves to be happy, or bury the anger that arises. But emotions aren't something you can simply control with the flick of a switch. They come, they go, and they need space to be expressed. Trying to control your emotions will only lead to more internal conflict. Instead of suppressing them, we need to accept them and allow ourselves to feel. In doing so, we find peace. This is where the tension lies. We want control because it feels safe. It feels like we can predict the outcome if we're in charge. But true peace comes not from trying to control the chaos around us, but from releasing the need to manage everything. Real freedom is found when we stop fighting for control and embrace the reality that not everything is ours to dictate. It's a paradox of life. True strength doesn't come from holding on, but from letting go. We are taught that strength is about control, power, and taking charge of every situation. The world tells us that to be strong, we must be able to handle everything on our own, to push through, to grind harder, to fight longer. But what if the opposite is true? What if true strength isn't found in our ability to hold on to everything, but in our ability to surrender? Surrendering isn't about weakness. It's not about giving up or giving in to life's challenges. Instead, it's about recognizing that we don't have the power to control everything, and that's okay. It's about acknowledging that our own strength has limits, but there is a greater power at work in our lives, one that we can trust, lean into, and rely on when our own resources run dry. When we think of surrender, we often associate it with loss, defeat, or powerlessness. We picture raising a white flag, signaling that we've lost the battle. But in reality, surrendering is one of the most powerful things we can do. It's an act of humility, of trust, and ultimately, an act of strength. The kind of strength that comes when we realize that we are not in control. And that's not only okay, it's necessary. It's when we surrender our need to control that we discover our true power. Look at the most powerful people in history. Not one of them became great by trying to control every aspect of their lives. Instead, they embraced surrender. They understood that there are moments when you need to let go in order to move forward, to grow, and to discover new levels of strength. It's the people who know when to surrender that often rise to the highest levels of achievement, not because they're invincible, but because they understand the power in letting go. Think about the battles you've fought in your own life, the times when you've struggled to make things happen, fought to control your circumstances, or worked tirelessly to manage every detail of your life? How many times did it feel like you were pushing against a wall? How many times did you feel exhausted, frustrated, and defeated? And yet, when you finally let go, when you surrendered, your own attempts to control the solution appeared. Maybe it wasn't exactly what you expected, but it was the answer you needed. Surrender leads to strength because it shifts our focus from our own abilities to the possibility of divine intervention, grace, and guidance. When we release our grip on control, we allow ourselves to receive help, to open up to the possibility that there's more to our story than we could ever plan or orchestrate. It's in that surrender that we tap into a power far greater than our own. Surrender also frees us from the pressure of perfection. We don't have to have everything figured out. We don't have to be perfect, because perfection isn't the goal, growth is. And growth often comes from the unexpected, the unknown, and the uncontrollable. When we surrender to life's unpredictability, we stop being afraid of failure or mistakes. We start to see them as opportunities to learn and grow, not as signs of our weakness. In relationships, surrendering means letting go of the need to control others. It's about accepting that we can't change the way people think, act, or feel. This doesn't mean we stop loving them or trying to help them, but it does mean we stop trying to manipulate, pressure, or force them into our mold. The most fulfilling relationships are those that grow through mutual surrender, where both people give up their need to control and allow space for growth, change, and understanding. The greatest strength comes not from avoiding vulnerability, but from embracing it. Surrender is a vulnerability, a recognition that we need help, that we can't do it all alone. When we acknowledge this, we open ourselves up to the support and strength that comes from others, from our faith, or from the greater forces at work in our lives. Vulnerability allows us to connect with others on a deeper level, and in turn, that connection becomes a source of strength. When we choose surrender, we choose trust. We trust that things will work out even when we don't have all the answers, even when we feel uncertain. And that trust brings an inner peace and strength that can't be found by fighting or controlling. It's the quiet strength that comes when you stop trying to force things and allow them to unfold naturally. Surrender isn't passive, it's active. It requires courage to let go, to admit that we don't have it all figured out, and to trust that something greater is at work. And in that act of surrender, we find the strength we've been looking for all along. True strength is not the ability to control everything, it's the ability to let go and trust that we're not alone. Faith and fear are two powerful forces that shape the course of our lives. On the surface, they may seem like opposites, but in reality, they are often deeply intertwined. They are both rooted in what we believe is possible, yet they take us in completely different directions. One builds, nurtures, and empowers us, while the other tears down, paralyzes, and restricts us. The key to living a life of purpose and peace lies in understanding the difference between these two forces and making a conscious choice to walk in faith rather than be governed by fear. At its core, faith is about trust. It's the belief that even when you don't have all the answers or a clear path ahead, there is something or someone greater than yourself guiding you. Faith says, even though I can't see the way, I know it will be okay. It's not the absence of uncertainty or difficulty, but the confidence that, despite those things, the outcome will align with something good. Faith operates on the understanding that there is a plan, even when you don't understand it. In contrast, fear is rooted in uncertainty. It feeds off the unknown, the what-ifs, and the doubts that creep into our minds when we face situations that challenge our sense of control. Fear says, what if things go wrong? What if I fail? What if I'm enough? Fear thrives in moments of vulnerability, amplifying the worst-case scenarios and paralyzing us with doubt. It leads us to focus on the potential dangers or problems rather than the potential for growth and success. Fear often keeps us stuck in the past or overly cautious about the future, preventing us from stepping into the fullness of what we're capable of. Faith and fear both require us to envision the future, but the way they shape that vision is drastically different. Faith looks ahead with anticipation, hope, and belief in something better. It's the willingness to move forward even when we can't see the whole picture, because we trust that the steps we take will lead us to the right place. It's the courage to take a risk when we don't know the outcome, because we believe that whatever happens, we will be okay and that we will grow through it. Faith empowers us to step into the unknown with confidence, knowing that we're not walking alone. On the other hand, fear looks ahead and imagines all the things that could go wrong. It amplifies the dangers, the risks, and the failures that might occur. Fear wants to keep us safe by keeping us small. It tells us to stay in our comfort zones, to avoid change, and to cling to the familiar, even when the familiar isn't serving us anymore. It convinces us that stepping into the unknown is too dangerous, too risky, and ultimately not worth it. Fear holds us back, often based on assumptions that aren't grounded in reality. It paints a picture of the future based on what could go wrong, while faith paints a picture based on what could go right. One of the most powerful things about faith is that it allows us to rise above our circumstances. Faith doesn't deny the difficulties we may face, it simply empowers us to see beyond them. When we have faith, we believe that there's more to our story than the current chapter. We understand that our struggles don't define us and our challenges are temporary. Faith sees every obstacle as an opportunity for growth and transformation. It doesn't mean we won't experience pain, loss, or setbacks, but it means we have hope in a greater purpose, a greater plan, and a greater outcome. Fear, however, keeps us trapped in the present moment. It keeps us focused on what's wrong right now, blocking our ability to see the potential for a better future. It feeds on our insecurities, turning them into mountains that feel insurmountable. Fear is a master of exaggeration, amplifying every possible threat and leading us to believe that we're incapable of overcoming what's in front of us. It blinds us to the possibilities that exist beyond our current fear, limiting our vision and stunting our growth. The battle between faith and fear often plays out in the choices we make on a daily basis. When we are faced with an opportunity, whether it's a new job, a relationship, a dream, or a challenge, fear will tell us all the reasons we shouldn't take that leap. It will remind us of every past failure, every risk that didn't pay off, and every what-if scenario. It will make us question whether we're good enough, strong enough, or capable enough to succeed. Faith, however, will whisper something different. It will encourage us to take the step, to move forward, even when we don't know the whole path. Faith will remind us that we have everything we need inside of us, that we are capable of more than we realize, and that we are supported by a power much greater than our own. Faith urges us to step into the unknown with trust, knowing that no matter what happens, we will be okay. When we choose faith over fear, we empower ourselves to grow, to overcome, and to become the person we were meant to be. Fear may always be present, but faith gives us the strength to face it head on and move beyond it. Faith doesn't eliminate fear, but it transforms how we respond to it. Faith shifts our focus from the potential for failure to the possibility of success. It moves us from the mindset of limitation to the mindset of opportunity. So each day we must choose. We must choose to walk in faith, to trust in what we cannot see, to believe in the possibility of something greater than what we currently know. And when fear tries to take hold, we can remind ourselves that faith is the antidote, that we are stronger than our fears, that our future is brighter than we imagine, and that we have the power to shape it with every step of faith we take. One of the most isolating feelings a person can experience is the sense that they are walking through life alone. It's as though the weight of the world is resting on their shoulders, and no one else can see or understand their struggle. The pressures, the doubts, the fears, sometimes they feel like burdens that can't be shared. It's in these moments that we believe we are isolated, that no one truly understands what we're going through, and that we must carry our burdens by ourselves. But the truth is, you are not alone. In the midst of hardship, it may seem like no one else can relate to what you're experiencing. The loneliness can feel suffocating, as if you're on a journey that only you can walk. When life throws curveballs, be it health challenges, financial struggles, relationship issues, or a feeling of deep inner turmoil, it's easy to believe that the weight of these experiences belongs solely to you. But you are not alone, not in the way you might think. The first step in realizing that you are not alone is recognizing that others have walked similar paths. Throughout history, humanity has faced similar challenges, and while every situation is unique, there is something comforting in knowing that others have experienced hardship too. You are not the first to feel pain, fear, confusion, or doubt. Countless individuals have faced their own trials, and many of them have come out the other side stronger and more resilient. You are part of a shared human experience. Your struggles may feel deeply personal, but they are not singular. The very nature of being human means that others can relate to the deep emotions you're feeling. Yet, it's not just about knowing that others have gone through similar things. You are not alone, because you are never truly walking through life by yourself. There is an invisible strength that surrounds you, a divine presence that walks beside you. In the moments when you feel the most isolated, there is always a greater power that offers comfort, guidance, and love. When you don't have the words to express your pain, when you feel as though no one can truly understand your heart itch, this greater presence knows your soul. You are never beyond the reach of love and support. There is a comfort in knowing that, even when people around you may not fully understand, you are held in a way that transcends human understanding. Even when it feels like the world has turned its back on you, you are not abandoned. There is something greater than you at work in the world. Whether it's the power of faith, the love of family and friends, or the strength of your own inner resilience, you are surrounded by forces that will not let you fall. Sometimes it's in the quiet moments of stillness that you can feel this truth, the way the universe quietly supports you, the way love shows up when you least expect it. There are people in your life who care, even when it doesn't seem like it. They might not always know how to express it, and sometimes their actions might not match their intentions. But the truth is that you are not alone. You are connected to others in ways you may not even realize. A simple message, a caring look, a shared moment of understanding can remind you that someone else is there rooting for you. Relationships, whether close or distant, form a web of connection that extends far beyond what we often see. But sometimes, even more powerful than the people around you is the internal realization that you are capable of navigating life's challenges. Your own strength is a reminder that you are not alone. The very fact that you've made it through every hardship up until now is with proof of your resilience. Every struggle, every moment of doubt, every challenge you faced has contributed to the person you are becoming. You are not alone because you have the power to face each moment, even when it feels overwhelming. And in that strength, you'll find that you never really were on your own. You've always had the resources within you to rise above what life brings. In the moments when loneliness feels overwhelming, reach out. Don't let silence convince you that you are the only one who feels the way you do. People may not always know what you need, but they can listen. They can offer a shoulder, and they can walk alongside you. It's okay to lean on others, to ask for help, to open your heart and let others in. We often hold back, thinking that we are a burden, but the truth is that most people want to help, they want to support you because they care. You are not alone because you have a purpose. Even when it seems unclear, your life is woven into a greater story. You are part of something much larger than yourself, a story of connection, love, and growth that spans generations. In the difficult moments, it might be hard to see that larger picture, but your journey is significant. Your life is meaningful, and the struggles you face are not without purpose. Whether or not you see it now, your story is unfolding in ways that impact not only you, but those around you. You are connected to something bigger, something that transcends your individual circumstances. And finally, you are not alone because you have the ability to help others. In your own struggles, you develop a unique empathy and understanding that allows you to be a source of strength for others. Sometimes, the very experience of walking through dark times opens your eyes to the needs of others, and in reaching out to them, you find that you are, once again, not alone. The act of helping, of connecting with others who share in your experience, reminds you that you are part of a greater whole, and in that connection you find strength. Trust is one of the most foundational elements of our lives. It is the invisible force that connects us to others, fuels relationships, and allows us to step into the unknown with confidence. Without trust, the world would be a much colder, more uncertain place. Whether it's trust in other people, trust in ourselves, or trust in something greater than us, it has the power to shape every aspect of our lives. Trust is often underestimated. We tend to take it for granted until it's tested. When we think of trust, we often think about relationships, the trust between friends, family, partners, or colleagues. But trust is so much more than just a bond between individuals. It is a principle that affects how we navigate the world itself. Trust is the currency of connection, and it's the foundation upon which all meaningful interactions are built. At its core, trust is an act of vulnerability. When we trust, we open ourselves up to the possibility of disappointment, hurt, or betrayal. We expose our hearts and minds to others with the hope that they will handle them with care. This act of vulnerability requires courage because it's much easier to close ourselves off than to trust. Trusting someone means believing in their integrity, their intentions, and their ability to handle our emotions and needs. It is choosing to believe in the good, even when there are no guarantees. But when we choose to trust, we unlock the potential for deep connection and growth. Trust brings people together in ways that nothing else can. It creates a sense of security and safety that allows relationships to flourish. Think about the relationships that matter most to you, whether it's a partner, a best friend, or a mentor. The foundation of those relationships is built on trust. Without it, the bond would weaken and the connection would dissolve. Trust is what allows us to share our deepest thoughts and fears with others. It's what lets us be seen for who we truly are without the fear of judgment. On a personal level, trust is essential for our own sense of well-being and inner peace. Trust in ourselves is the cornerstone of self-confidence. When we trust ourselves, we believe in our ability to navigate life's challenges, make decisions, and pursue our dreams. Trusting ourselves means knowing that we have the resilience, wisdom, and strength to face whatever comes our way. It's the belief that we can weather storms, grow from adversity, and learn from mistakes without being defined by them. But building self-trust isn't always easy. We often doubt ourselves, second-guess our decisions, or feel uncertain about our capabilities. However, the more we trust ourselves, the more we develop the confidence to step into new challenges and opportunities. When we trust ourselves, we let go of the need for perfection. We stop seeking constant validation from others and begin to rely on our inner voice. Self-trust empowers us to take risks, to pursue our passions, and to follow our intuition without fear of failure. It's a powerful force that propels us forward in life. Trust is not only about relationships with others or ourselves, it also plays a pivotal role in how we relate to the world around us. Trust in something greater than ourselves, whether it's the universe, fate, or a higher power, offers a sense of peace in times of uncertainty. When we trust that there is a greater plan at work, even when we don't understand it, we gain the strength to move through difficult circumstances. This trust allows us to let go of the need for control and surrender to the flow of life. It reminds us that we are not alone, and that everything, even the struggles, has a purpose. When we trust in life itself, we move through the world with a sense of ease and acceptance. We don't resist challenges, but rather embrace them, knowing that each obstacle is an opportunity for growth. Trust in life allows us to take risks, to step into the unknown with the belief that the journey will lead us to where we need to be. It's the trust that, even when things don't go according to plan, something good will come out of it. In a world that often feels chaotic and unpredictable, trust provides us with stability. Trust grounds us, offering us a sense of security amidst uncertainty. When we trust, we can breathe easier. We don't have to worry about what's next because we know that, whatever happens, we are capable of handling it. Trust gives us the strength to persevere in the face of adversity, knowing that we are not walking this path alone. However, trust is not something that happens overnight. It's something that must be nurtured, built, and earned. Whether it's trust in others, trust in ourselves, or trust in life, it takes time to develop. We have to be willing to be vulnerable, to make mistakes, and to learn from them. Trust requires patience, understanding, and a willingness to stay open, even when we're unsure. It's a process, a journey, and a choice we make every day. But once trust is established, its power is immeasurable. Trust opens doors, it builds bridges, and it creates connections. It fosters growth, resilience, and confidence. It transforms relationships, empowers individuals, and brings peace to our hearts. Trust is the foundation of everything that is good in life. When we trust, we allow ourselves to move forward with purpose, to take risks, and to embrace the unknown with confidence. Trust is the key to unlocking the fullness of life and stepping into all that we are meant to be. We all have dreams, ambitions, and goals that we strive toward every single day. Whether it's securing that perfect job, finding the ideal partner, or achieving personal success, we often find ourselves doing everything we can to control the direction of our lives. We meticulously plan every step, hold on to every decision with tight hands, and believe that if we work hard enough and stay focused enough, we can dictate the outcome. We feel like the masters of our own fate, the architects of our future. But life has a way of humbling us, of reminding us that no matter how much we plan, there is a power greater than our control. God's plan is greater than our control, and it is in surrendering to that truth that we find peace and purpose. There's a profound truth in the idea that we cannot control everything. No matter how hard we try, there are factors beyond our comprehension, forces in the universe that are far beyond our reach. We can plan our lives down to the finest detail, but what happens when things don't go according to plan? What happens when our carefully laid foundations crumble, or when unexpected circumstances disrupt everything we thought we had under control. This is where the strength of surrender lies. It's the realization that despite our best efforts, we are not in complete control, and that's okay. God's plan operates on a level that we can never fully grasp. We see only a fraction of the bigger picture, and sometimes the path we envision for ourselves may not align with the path that is truly meant for us. The things that don't work out the way we want them to are often not rejections, but redirections. It's a humbling and yet liberating truth. The detours in life may very well be leading us to something greater than we can imagine. Our limited understanding often focuses only on immediate desires, but God's plan unfolds over time, and it's often far more intricate, meaningful, and fulfilling than anything we could have conceived for ourselves. Think about the times in your life when you felt like everything was falling apart. Perhaps you didn't get that job you wanted, or a relationship ended unexpectedly. Maybe you faced a financial setback, a health scare, or a loss that shook you to your core. In those moments, it's easy to feel as though you've lost control, that things have spiraled out of your grasp. Yet, in hindsight, how many of those moments have led you to better things? How many has setback later revealed itself to be a blessing in disguise? When we surrender our plans, we open ourselves to divine intervention, to the possibility that what is meant for us will come in ways we could never have planned. God's plan is bigger than our own because it is not limited by our finite understanding of the world. We often think we know what's best for us, but God sees the bigger picture of everything we cannot see and understand. He understands the timing, the context, the relationships, and the circumstances that will lead us to our fullest potential. What we experience as rejection or failure may be a necessary step on the way to something more significant, something better. It's in those moments of frustration and confusion that we are invited to trust in a plan greater than our own. Letting go of control does not mean we become passive or inactive in our lives. We still make decisions, we still take action, and we still pursue our goals. But we do so with an open heart, knowing that our plans are subject to change, that we are not the ultimate planners of our own destiny. Surrendering control means trusting that, no matter what happens, we are always in the hands of a loving and purposeful God who is guiding us to where we need to be. There is peace in knowing that we are not alone in our journey. We don't have to carry the burden of trying to control everything. The pressures of life, the desire to get it right, and the fear of missing out or failing can all be overwhelming. But in those moments, we can remember that God's plan is already in motion, even when we can't see it. There's comfort in knowing that, while we may not always understand why things happen the way they do, there is a greater purpose unfolding in our lives. Think of the times in your life when things didn't turn out the way you expected. Maybe you took a risk, tried something new, or encountered an unexpected obstacle. In those moments, you might have questioned everything, but eventually you realized that those detours were necessary. Those moments that felt like defeats were actually leading you to where you needed to be. God's plan works in ways that we cannot always anticipate, and sometimes the most challenging moments are the ones that bring us closer to our true purpose. The truth is, when we fully embrace the idea that God's plan is greater than our control, we are able to release the stress and anxiety that come with trying to manage every outcome. Life becomes less about controlling every detail and more about trusting in the process. It's about walking by faith, knowing that the path ahead, though unclear at times, is leading us towards something greater. There is freedom in surrendering the need to control, and in that freedom, we find peace, clarity, and a deeper connection to the divine purpose that guides us. Ultimately, the most powerful thing we can do is to let go of the need to control and allow ourselves to be guided by the wisdom of a plan that's far greater than anything we could orchestrate on our own. When we trust that God's plan is unfolding as it should, we free ourselves from the fear of the unknown and embrace the hope that whatever happens, we are exactly where we need to be.